All right, Coach. Air Force Academy, you've been here for how long now?
Going 15 years. Started out as a volunteer assistant and second assistant, and going into my 9th season as a head coach.
Okay, we were talking on the massive tour you gave me, how time flies. It's hard to think that, you've been here that long.
Yeah.
And that being said, how do you feel about the upcoming season and how you've grown as a coach since you first started assistant, right? And then taking over as a head coach not that long ago, actually.
Yeah, I think every season's met with excitement, right? And it's like, you keep that excitement throughout the year, and then you get to the summer, and you take a deep breath. And for us, we do a lot. We spend a lot of time each year at the end of the year evaluating the program and saying, hey, like, what things went well, what things can we be better at, and we've constantly done that, and because of that, I think we've been able to grow the program in a lot of different areas. If it's even in facilities, or if it's training opportunities, or if it's maybe taking things that we do pretty well but trying to enhance those and make them better. Obviously, identifying our weaknesses and trying to get better in those areas. So that's a big part of it. Is like, hey, the spring, you come off the season, and again, you're still always excited, but it's an evaluation period, and then you get going. So. Starting another season and that part of it, like, there's just this idea of like, gosh, like we're so close, 31st in the country a year ago, and guys that are just right on the cusp of getting on the podium, being into All Americans. So I think like we really feel like we're really close to breaking through.
All right, Service Academy. For a guy like me that's just a massive wrestling fan, been around the sport for about 25 years myself, just as a fan, nothing major. Service Academies are kind of a question mark to a guy like me, a wrestling dad.
Yeah.
There's a already connection in Ohio. We talked about that on the tour. What is a student athlete looking for in a service academy like Air Force, and vice versa? What are you looking for in a student athlete that's going to come here and be a wrestler?
Yeah, I think the sport of wrestling. It was sold to me when I was a young guy. It's like, hey, this is a sport you can be part of it, and it can teach you some transformational life skills, right? Like that's what we kind of beat our chest about. Like wrestling is the best sport in the country because you learn all these life skills about hard work, discipline, right? Well, that's who we are here, right? That's who we are.
You're living that.
We live that,
yeah.
Right? We live that. And all those things that we say wrestling teaches us as transformational life skills, we have that here, and you can apply it to other areas of academics, athletics, and leadership, right? So for us, like, that's where wrestling is such a great fit at the United States Air Force Academy and service academies, is because all those transformational life skills that we think the sport of wrestling has taught us at a young age, it continues to teach it to you here, but at a much higher and enhanced level. And you really have to use the things you'll know from wrestling to be successful in other areas of your life, like academics and leadership. And then once you graduate, it culminates like, okay, I'm going to take this whole history of wrestling that I've had, since grade school through junior high to high school, through the Air Force Academy, and now I get to use it to make the world a better place and selfless service to my country.
So, when it comes to recruiting, are you casting a wide net, or is there a specific type of young man that needs to be looking at Air Force?
It's a wide net in the sense that we're trying to find the very best wrestlers we can find across the country. And we're going to places like the Ironman, right? And we're aware of like Northeast Ohio and the state of Ohio, right? And the state of Pennsylvania and the Midwest and all those places where there's great wrestling. So like we're casting a wide net that way. We have some things that narrow that a little bit. Our academic standards to get here are pretty high. You have to be medically qualified, right? So that narrows it again. And then once you kind of figure out, hey, who has the grades, who's medically qualified, and then we start to try and find out like who has a love and a passion for this sport, that they're going to be able to still have that same love and passion for 4 years, and then a strong desire to excel with intrinsic motivation, while wanting to be part of something bigger than themselves and get a great education. Again, like I've done a few interviews here in the last week, and just this idea of like, hey, nobody goes to college just with one goal, right? Like you're not going to college like, oh, I want to be a great wrestler. Everybody goes to college like, well, I have an academic goal, I have an athletic goal, and I have a career goal. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do here, right? You come here, you get a world-class education, you get to be part of a Power 5 conference and wrestle the Division I national tournament, and then you have a guaranteed job in the Air Force or Space Force when you graduate, being part of something bigger than yourself, doing some really, really cool stuff.
Remind me again how much debt you come out of when you come out of the Service Academy.
Yeah,
Right.
that part of it, again, like it's the best life decision you can make, financially. There's no doubt about that, right? So everything like full ride scholarship plus a paycheck, guaranteed job when you graduate, a ton of benefits. You get a $35,000 car loan when you're a junior at 0.5% interest. A lot of the guys invest that, so they're not only leaving here debt free, but they're leaving here with a stock portfolio, right? Or Bitcoin. These young guys got Bitcoin. So,
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so
might not be doing too good now, but whatever. That's how they learn, right?
And then they get their first duty assignment, right? And they're a member of our armed forces, so they get a zero down, best interest loan to buy their first house, right? So make a home purchase at 22 years old. And they keep that house, and then they use it as an investment property, and then they go to the next duty station. They do the same thing, and it's just like this place, like the opportunities it provides to you because of what you're part of, who you are, along the line of our alumni network. Like it's again, you could be successful a lot of different ways. Like there's pathways to success, and a lot of people have achieved that, right? That didn't go to service academies, but this is a linear line, a direct line that's going to get you to be successful financially. But that's one piece of it, right? But more importantly, who you become while you're here, going through the experience, especially on the character integrity side.
What's life like here in Colorado Springs?
Life in Colorado is pretty good, like it's, I think once you get here, you want to slam the door shut behind you, right? Because it's starting, obviously the secret's out. There's a lot of people moving to Colorado.
Yeah, right.
So, but 300 days of sunshine, Colorado Springs this year, I think was number two place to live in the country. It's just it's a great city. We're Olympic City, USA. So you got a mixture of just like good, hardworking people, Olympic athletes, people who love to be outside and be fit and be active. We got 5 military installations here between Fort Carson, Schriever, Peterson, NORAD, and the Air Force Academy. So it's a very patriotic place to be. We care about what we do here in defense of our nation. So it's obviously it's a lot of people desire to live here, and we feel really fortunate that we're here. For our families, our coaching staff, but it's also a great place to be for 4 years to go to college as well. Restaurants, entertainment opportunities, world-class outdoor opportunities. Denver's 50 miles away. Professional sports. Go to bucket list stuff like going to a concert at Red Rocks, right? So like there's a lifetime worth of stuff to do here. You couldn't do it all.
Facilities-wise, this has to be the best athletic facility I've ever seen from top to bottom. You got like 47 pools. You got 13, basketball courts.
Yeah.
You got fencing.
Yeah.
You've got boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable here. The amount of support that the student athlete's going to receive here in their own sport, right?
Yeah.
But take that to the next level. You told me that everybody's on the same schedule.
Yeah.
So everybody's practicing at the same time, which means they have to have their own, you're not sharing facilities
Right.
here. What's it like here when everybody is, they're meeting those goals athletically as well, and everybody seems to be doing it all together?
Yeah. Well, again, like we're a value-driven and mission-driven organization, right? The entire Air Force Academy. So there's things that we have to get done. We have to get people 146 credit hours to get them graduated with a Bachelor of Science and one of 30 different degrees. All right. We have to make sure everybody is physically fit, either as an intercollegiate athlete or in some type of intramural club. And we have to make sure that when they leave here, that they can lead, right? So like with that, it's not restrictive here, but it's very structured, and that structure allows for great time management, and we have to be able to execute academically, in a very specific way in the morning, athletically in a very specific way in the afternoon, and then when we have to on the weekends or in a few blocks here and there during the day, we have to make sure that these guys are ready to lead. So it all works together. The three pillars of the institution all work together, of academics and leadership and athletics, to create this thing that's a second lieutenant that's ready to do great things in the Air Force and Space Force when they graduate. And a big thing is this is who we are as the United States Air Force, right? Our number one asset is our people, all right? When your number one asset is your people, is you take care of them. And one way you take care of them is you provide great spaces for them to live, work, study, train, and pursue their goals in.
4,000 cadets, 1,000 Division I athletes, 3,000 athletes that are doing it, have to do an intramural sport.
Yeah.
So everybody is doing that, right?
You do intramurals, or you can be part of clubs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
club like Wings of Blue, right? Like, how cool is it that you're part of this club that their job is to jump out of airplanes every afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Powered flight.
Every afternoon.
Yeah, every afternoon.
Wow.
Powered flight, you get to go fly an airplane, right? You can be part of some of our engineering clubs that are building biodiesel cars and racing those, and we have long distance gliders and acrobatic gliders, and there's just some whatever you can think of, even some arts. We got a few years ago we had I think it was Cadets in the Hall or something, and they were an a cappella group that sang together. So there's really not a club that we don't have here. Our triathlon club's pretty competitive. Our rugby team's pretty good, and that's a club sport. So you got a passion for it, then there's probably a club here to support it.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time. Thanks for having us here. Good luck to you this year. What else you got for us?
Well, just honestly, appreciate you. Obviously, we're a national recruit. We recruit across the country to include our home state of Colorado, but we've had a great track record in Ohio and next door in Pennsylvania and across the nation. But Ohio is an important state to us, so we got a couple guys we're excited about on our team currently. A couple of future guys coming here from the state that we're really excited about as well. And we're just kind of looking for those good, hard-working, the values that the state of Ohio instills in guys on the wrestling mat. They do well here institutionally. So just appreciate the support and coverage in Ohio, and we're excited about the opportunities we have in that state.
We'll see you at Ironman.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks.